Good morning, everybody. Well, we are very, very carefully monitoring the latest news about the Omicron variant. And meanwhile, we're still fighting the central battle, which is against the Delta variant. So a lot going on. We're going to have some updates for you today because we need to take very bold action, aggressive action to address these new threats. It's Omicron, it's cold weather, which we know presents a real challenge with COVID in every form. It's the holiday gatherings coming up. There's a lot going on, and what we're seeing now in other parts of the world, and this is really an area of tremendous concern, we're seeing restrictions starting to come back. We're seeing shutdowns. Look at Germany right now. Such a strong nation in so many ways, but the situation there has gotten to a really troubling place. So now they're reinstating a lot of restrictions that we all hoped were part of the past. We cannot let those restrictions come back. We cannot have shutdowns here in New York City. We got to keep moving forward. And the answer, as always, is to use the things that work. Vaccination works and vaccine mandates work. That's the bottom line. So look, we're working closely with the state government, with the federal government. We're all united, common front to fight COVID, and that cooperation is tremendously important. But we also know Omicron is here. No debate about it anymore. It doesn't matter if we're only getting a few cases in different states. We know it's here. We know it's going to spread. It appears to be at this moment very transmissible. We're waiting for more facts and more evidence, but that's what we're seeing so far. What does that mean? You can expect, and I'm sorry to say this, you can expect community spread. We have to assume it's going to be widespread. We have to assume it's going to give us a real challenge. We've been to this movie before. We've been down this road before. We know what happens when we get a new variant, and particularly one that's highly transmissible. It's not something we can't handle. We have the tools, but we have to use those tools aggressively, and we have to move quickly. And that's why I describe the actions we're taking today as a preemptive strike. Get ahead of this problem before it deepens, and use the thing that works, vaccination. We can talk about all the other tools, and we will. But vaccination is the central weapon in this war against COVID. It's the one thing that has worked every single time across the board. On a strategic level, it's the reason New York City is back in so many ways. And it's the reason we can avoid shutdowns and restrictions. It's more use of vaccination. So that's why we are taking aggressive action today. We are not going back to what happened in 2020. We cannot allow that to happen. We're not going to allow to happen in New York City what's happening in Germany right now. We cannot let that happen. So look, bottom line, I've said we have been climbing the ladder. As we have climbed the ladder, good things have happened. More and more people have gotten vaccinated. The city got safer. We were able to bring back people's livelihoods and jobs and the life of the city. We need to keep that going. So today we're going to be announcing some additional measures to keep New Yorkers safe. And I'm going to remind everyone, job number one of any mayor, keep people safe. This is the biggest crisis, not only of our time, of the history of New York City. We cannot let COVID back in the door again. So these measures today will make a big difference. First of all, with the Key to NYC, extremely effective program. It's been respected and emulated around the country. It needs to be more, honestly. It's something that should be used in more and more places. Well, right now we require all employees and patrons, everyone 12 and up, to be vaccinated, at least one dose. That's indoor dining, fitness, entertainment. That's worked brilliantly. It's been a tremendous success. There were a lot of concern about it at the beginning. In fact, it has been an across-the-board success with very few problems. You know, there's been a few challenges, but not many. So we now are going to deepen that effort by requiring all employees and patrons to have, from 12 years old and up, 2 doses. And that will take effect on December 27th. Because the idea is everyone by that point who has gotten their first dose, if you've gotten your first dose by now, you're going to be able to get your second dose by then. We got to up the ante here. We want to also encourage folks to get that second dose. Vast majority of New Yorkers do, and that's good news. But we've got to encourage people even more. Get that second dose, because that's what gives you so much more protection. So 2 doses for all the Key to NYC businesses starting December 27th, employees and customers. And that's going to keep people safe. And we want to see people go out and get those second doses right now if they qualify. Remember, with the holidays, with the cold weather, if you haven't gotten your second dose and you qualify, this is exactly the time to get it. You should feel urgency because the challenge of COVID is about to get greater. Now, Another point on Key to NYC, thinking of the youngest New Yorkers, the vaccination for the 5 to 11-year-olds. It's just begun the last few weeks. Already we've gotten over 127,000 New York City kids in that age range vaccinated. That's great. It's a little over 19% of all the kids in that group. Considering it's brand new, that's good, and it's better than the national rate, but it's not enough, obviously. We need to see a lot more. We need to see kids getting vaccinated in that age group. Parents, we need you to step up for the good of your children, your family, all of us. Go get your child vaccinated. So we're going to include them in the Key to NYC, the guidelines for Key to NYC, starting on December 14th. So this is, again, 1 dose now because it's a new vaccination. That gives parents plenty of time. We've been having vaccination drives in schools. We're in the middle of our second round in every single elementary school in New York City, every school with 5 to 11-year-olds. This will be the second time around, started last week, continuing this week. If you're a parent, you want to get your kid vaccinated, it's so simple. It could be at your own school, or it could be in many, many locations nearby your home. This is something that's going to keep kids safe and families safe. Go get your child vaccinated. So long as they've gotten that first dose by December 14th, they can continue to participate, indoor dining, entertainment, all of these great things. Now, another point for our youngest kids. Previously, for the kids 12 years old and up, the rule's been in place for high-risk extracurricular activities, sports, band, chorus, orchestra, dance, things where there's a lot of close contact, things where kids are, singing, or anything where they're really letting a lot of air out that could have an impact on everyone around them. That has applied to kids 12 and up. We're going to now apply that to kids in the 5 to 11-year-old range as well. That's also December 14th. Again, only 1 dose required. There's time for parents to get that done. Most kids don't necessarily participate in those activities. That's fine, but for those who do, we want to make sure they have that protection. It's real important. Okay, now, another really big, important step, and this is going to be a first-in-the-nation step. You're going to hear from our health commissioner in a moment, and he will be issuing a commissioner's order for all private sector employers in New York City. It is time. Look, this is how we put health and safety first, by ensuring that there is a vaccine mandate that reaches everyone universally in the private sector. A lot of folks in the private sector have said to me they believe in vaccination, but they're not quite sure how they can do it themselves. Well, we're going to do it. We're going to do this so that every employer is on a level playing field. One universal standard starting December 27th. We're going to be working with businesses all over the city, and that's almost 200,000 businesses that are not already covered by the Key to NYC guidelines right now. We're going to be working with the business community. We're going to be talking to them in the next days on how to put together the right plan to implement this. The specific guidance, the specific rules will come out on December 15th. We want to have a collaborative process. We want to make this work. And let's be clear, we have a great example with the Key to NYC. All those restaurants, all those fitness clubs, all those entertainment facilities, movie theaters, all sorts of places, they've been working with us. They gave us good advice up front. We came up with rules that worked. The vast, vast majority have implemented those rules really effectively. And I constantly hear from people that they know if they go into a place under Key to NYC, they're safe. And they feel comfortable. They're going to enjoy themselves. They feel comfortable in those settings because they know everyone's vaccinated. And there was a lot of concern up front. Would it work? Would it be difficult? You know what? Businesses have adapted and handled it really, really well. And we know that will happen again. We're going to set up a call center to handle concerns from businesses. We'll have a strong outreach effort, as we've done previously, to answer questions, provide the support they need. This is going to make a huge difference to make sure New Yorkers are safe going forward. I want you to hear from the person who will be issuing the order, and in the course of the day, our health commissioner, Dr. Dave Choksi.